students of class 10. I'm here to continue with Act 4, Scene 1 of Merchant of Venice. So in the last class we have discussed how Shylock goes on giving explanations as to why his demand of the pound of flesh is not wrong. He says that he is not wrong in demanding the pound of flesh from Antonio's body. He says that he has the right to do so. He has done nothing wrong. So when he says that, the Duke becomes a little annoyed with him and tells him that he has the power to dismiss the court, adjourn the court, unless Bellario, a doctor from Padua, comes there in order to fight the case for Antonio. Just then, the Duke says that, and somebody comes and informs the Duke that a messenger has come from Dr. Bellario and he is waiting outside the court in order to take permission to come inside the court. So, Salerio says, "My lord here stays without a messenger with letters from the doctor, new come from Padua." So Salerio comes and tells the Duke that a messenger has been waiting outside the court in order to give the letter and the message to the Duke. And he was waiting for permission to come inside the court. So when Salerio comes and gives this message to the Duke says, "Bring us the letter, call the messenger." Yeah, bring the letters and tell the messenger to come inside the court. Then Bassanio says, "Good cheer, Antonio. What man, courage yet. The Jew shall have my flesh, blood, bones and all, ere thou shalt lose for me one drop of blood." So in the meantime, Bassanio is feeling very, very bad and very, very sad for Antonio. Because of him, Antonio is going to lose his life. So that's why Bassanio has a feeling of guilt and even sadness that his dear friend is going away from him. So he tries to cheer up Antonio and he tries to tell him, "Come on, Antonio, cheer up, have courage." And then he even tries to tell him that the Jew will have my flesh, my blood, my bones, everything, before you drop one jot of blood for me. So please, Antonio, please be cheerful, please be happy. And you don't have to worry. Nothing is going to happen to you. The Jew will take my flesh, my blood and my bones, and nothing is going to happen to you. You will not be affected even an inch. You will not drop even one jot of blood for me. You are going to be excused. And whatever is going to happen is going to happen to me. I will give my flesh, my blood, my bones, everything to the Jew. And nothing will happen to you. So Bassanio, with a lot of guilt in his heart, tries to cheer up Antonio. Because we know very well that Antonio is going to lose his life because of Bassanio. So it's all because of Bassanio. All this is happening because of him. So he has a sense of guilt inside his heart. So he tells Antonio not to lose his heart and to be cheerful. And he says, "Nothing is going to happen to you. Everything will happen to me, not to you." And the Duke says, and Antonio says, "I am a tainted wether of the flock, meetest for death." So he tells Bassanio, "See, Bassanio, I am a sick sheep in the herd, and I am just waiting for death. I'm ready to be slaughtered. I'm just a sick sheep in the herd. I'm ready to be slaughtered. I'm waiting for my death." And he even tells him, "The weakest kind of fruit drops earliest to the ground. So let me." So he says, the fruit which is the weakest, which has already got rotten, will drop to the ground first. So that will also happen to me. This is my fate. I have to face it. This was destined to happen. So let me have it. Let me face that. I am that sick sheep in the herd, and I am that weakest fruit in the tree. So I will be slaughtered very easily, and I'll be dropping on the ground very easily. So let me have my faith. Let me face it. You don't be bothered about this, and you don't blame yourself, and you don't feel guilty. This is my fate. I was destined to face this. So let me face it. So Antonio tries to reply in that manner. You cannot better be employed, Bassanio, than to live still and write my epitaph. So you have a better work to do. You have to live and write the inscriptions on my tombstone. You have better job to do. You don't worry about me. Let me go. Let me face my destiny, my fate. You don't be bothered about this. You just have one work, and that is to live and to write the inscriptions on my tombstone. So you have a better job to perform. You have a better job to do. So don't bother about me. Let me die. Let me go. I will face what I have to face myself. Just then what happens? Enter Nerissa, dressed like a lawyer's clerk. So Nerissa enters. She is in the get-up of a clerk of a lawyer. Actually, she is a girl, but she has been dressed up like a boy. She is helping Portia, who is now the lawyer. So she becomes Portia's clerk, and she tries to help Portia. And she becomes a clerk for the lawyer. So she comes dressed up in that way, and nobody is able to recognize her. So, came you from Padua, from Bellario, from both, my lord? Bellario greets your grace and presents a letter. So have you come from Dr. Bellario from Padua? Yes, my lord. Dr. Bellario sends his greetings to you. And Nerissa hands over a letter to the Duke. So now let's see what happens. Bassanio, why dost thou whet thy knife so earnestly? So in the meantime, what happens is Bassanio sees Shylock sharpening his knife on the soles of his shoes. Earnestly, so willingly, he's sharpening the knife. So when Bassanio sees that, he cannot control himself. So he asks Shylock, why are you sharpening the knife so earnestly then? Then what Shylock had to say? To cut the forfeiture from that bankrupt there. So he says, why? Just to cut a pound of flesh from this bankrupt here who's standing here. I just want to have a pound of flesh from his body. That's why I'm sharpening my knife so earnestly here. Because I want to have a pound of flesh from this bankrupt who's standing here in front of me. That's why I'm sharpening my knife. So then, Gratiano becomes very angry on listening to that. And he says, not on thy soul, but on thy soul, harsh Jew, thou makest thy knife keen. So then Gratiano really fires up. He's very, very angry with Shylock. And he says, it is not on the sole of your shoes, but on your evil soul that you're sharpening your knife. So here, the word soul, S-O-L-E, there's a pun in the word. So pun means a word has double meaning. So when you talk about S-O-L-E here, so that is the sole of the shoes. And the other sole means S-O-U-L. So that is a sole inside a person. So what Gratiano wants to say is, he is not sharpening the knife on the soles of his shoes, but on the sole that is there inside him. That means he's so much willing to take a pound of flesh from Antonio's body, and he's sharpening his knife there in the sole or on the sole that is there inside it, not on the sole of the shoes. So here the word sole has a pun. There is a pun in the word sole. It has got double meaning. So one is the sole of the shoes and the other sole is the sole which is there inside a person. So there is a pun in the word. That's why Graciano says, you are not sharpening the knife on the soles of your shoes, but on the sole that is inside your body. You are sharpening your knife there. And then he says, but no metal can, no, not the hangman's axe, bear half the keenness of thy sharp envy. But he says, but no metal, not even the hangman's axe can have half the sharpness of your jealousy. You're so jealous. Not even that hangman, the one who hangs somebody, the executioner, will have that sharpness in his weapon or that metal like you have a sharpness of jealousy. Not even the hangman can have that. But you are so jealous of Antonio. You have that sharpness of jealousy inside you. And that even a hangman will not be having. You just remember that. Then he says, can no prayers pierce him? Can no prayers penetrate your heart? Will you not listen to anybody? Will you not listen to the prayers of anybody? What kind of a human being are you? So Graciano becomes really, really furious. And he tries to scold Shylock. And he tells him, you are sharpening the knife on the soul inside your heart. You are so jealous of Antonio. Even the hangman's axe would not have that much of sharpness like you have inside your heart. So much of jealousy against Antonio. So, what kind of a human being are you? Are you not scared of anybody? Will you not listen to the prayers of anybody? What kind of a person are you? What kind of a human being are you? Then Shylock says, no, none that thou have wit enough to make. No, nothing can pierce my heart. Not even the intelligence that you have to make me soften my heart. Nothing can pierce my heart. Not even the intelligence that you have inside you. Even that cannot pierce my heart. That will not penetrate my heart. Nothing can work on me. Then Graciano says, oh, be thou damned, inexorable dog. So then he even calls him a dog. An inexorable. A person who cannot be moved by any press. You inexorable dog. You will not be moved by anything. You obstinate dog, you stubborn dog. You cannot be moved by anything. And for thy life let justice be accused. So this justice, this legal system is to be blamed for your existence. You are here because of the legal system. And this legal system is to be blamed for your existence. You are here because of the legal system. The system of giving justice. You are here because of that. And I blame the justice for that. You are here because of that. You dog, you stubborn dog. So Graciano becomes angry to that extent that he even ends up calling him a dog. And then he says, thou almost makest me waver in my faith to hold opinion with Pythagoras that souls of animals infuse themselves into the trunks of men. So you almost make me waver in my religion and believe in Pythagoras' theorem. You almost make me do that. Waver in my religious faith and believe in Pythagoras' theorem or Pythagoras' theory. According to that theory, the souls of animals enter inside the bodies of human beings. According to that theory, the souls of animals enter inside the bodies of living beings, the human beings. So you almost make me believe in that. So this is what you are doing. You obstinate dog, you Jew, you are doing that. I almost want to believe in the theory of Pythagoras. And then he says, thy currish spirit governed a wolf who hanged for human slaughter. Your evil spirit must have lived inside a wolf once who was hanged for killing men. I think your evil spirit must have gone inside the body of that particular wolf who was hanged for killing men. Because you are so wolfish, you are so devilish, you are so ravenous. I think your spirit must have entered inside that wolf's body. Because that wolf had been hanged because it killed many human beings. I think your spirit must have entered inside that. And not only that, even from the gallows did his fell soul flee. And whilst thou layest in the unhallowed down, infused himself in thee. So your evil spirit must have lived once inside a wolf who was hanged for killing human beings. And even when he was hanged, what happened, his soul must have escaped. And it may have entered inside your mother's body when you were still unborn. That's why you are, for that desires, wolfish, bloody, starved and ravenous. That's why you are so bloody. Your desires are so wolf-like, so bloody, starved and ravenous. You are so hungry, you are so ravenous. You only want to take the life of people. You only want to finish people. You are so bloody. You are so bloodthirsty. You are so ravenous. So hungry, so thirsty. Because according to Graciano, what may have happened is, when the wolf was being hanged, his soul might have escaped from there. And the soul might have entered into Shylock's mother's body when Shylock was still unborn. So that bloody spirit he may have got from his mother's womb. So that is why he is so bloodthirsty, so ravenous, so hungry and so wolfish, so wolf-like. His intentions are so deadly. He only wants to take people's life. Just like the wolf which killed human beings. Shylock is also only interested in killing people. He's only interested in taking the life of people just like that wolf. His intentions are so wolfish. So Graciano, in a fit of rage, he just utters these words to Shylock. He becomes so angry with Shylock that he is bound to utter these words. He doesn't want to actually, but Graciano, he likes to speak a lot. That is one more habit of his. But whatever he is saying at the present moment, that is correct. Because a person like Shylock will never think of anything good for anybody whatsoever. His only intentions are hurting people, killing them, somehow suppressing them and putting them down. He would never want to see anybody in any kind of benefit. He doesn't want to do that. So that's why Graciano is correct when he says that he is so wolfish and so devilish and so thirsty, hungry, ravenous, hungry to hurt somebody. His desires are that way. So Graciano is, in a way, he's very much correct when he says all these to Shylock, because Shylock is like that. He is a person who has this particular nature. So Graciano utters so many things in a fit of anger. He's so very angry, so very angry. So then we saw in this class today how these people are having a confrontation and Shylock, Bassanio, Graciano, all these people are having a sort of dispute here. And how Bassanio tries to cheer up Antonio and how Antonio in return tries to assure Bassanio not to be sad for him. and to do the job that Antonio will ask him to do so. And we also saw how Graciano, in a fit of rage and anger, he utters so many words to Shylock. And Shylock will not listen to anybody whatsoever. He will not listen. Even after Graciano has said so many things, he will still not listen to even Graciano. Because Shylock is not a person who can be moved by anything else. So this is one particular part of Act 4, Scene 1. And I shall continue with the same act and the same scene tomorrow. Until then, please clarify your doubts and ask questions, class 10. And don't hesitate. Please do not hesitate to post your questions and your queries. So before I wind up the class, I would just like to give you a small homework. You just have to answer these questions which are there on the board. The first one is, how does Bassanio try to cheer up Antonio and why? So you have to base your answer on the part which has been discussed today. Like how Bassanio tells Antonio to be happy, and on behalf of Antonio, he is going to give his flesh and blood and bones, everything to Shylock, and nothing will happen to him. So you'll have to base your answer on that. And why? You know the reason very well why Bassanio wants to say that to Antonio. Secondly, what is Antonio's reply to Bassanio? So that also I have discussed today. Antonio tells Bassanio not to worry about anything, and he has to stay alive in order to write the inscriptions on his tombstone. So that is the answer to the second one. You just base your answer on that. Number 3, why did Shylock sharpen his knife so earnestly? So Shylock sharpened his knife so earnestly to cut off a pound of flesh from Antonio's body. Number 4, how does Graciano try to explain the pun on the word so? So pun, I've already explained the meaning of the word pun. Pun means a word which has a double meaning. So that is also there in the textbook and in the portion that I have explained today. So please answer these 4 questions in your notebook, class 10, and please submit your homework to me. Okay, class 10, I hope the questions are clear to you and the answers also I have discussed in brief, if not the whole thing, but I've just explained in brief or discussed in brief. So you can base your answers on the description that I have done just now. So these 4 questions, please attempt in your notebooks and submit your answers to me. Okay, class 10, with this, I'll wind up the class for today. And in the meantime, please do your homework sincerely and honestly.